30 years ago, I played for the first time the famous Bourree by Bach. As a child, I didn't understand what I'm playing at all, but I was fascinated by the harmony in this music. It sounded so colorful to me and full of movement. Also created mysterious feelings in me. Today, I perform it again with all the knowledge of the style I have collected through the years. I will also do analysis of the composition and comment on some things that I find interesting and important. I use drop D tuning just for this performance, as I like to play the original notes in the bass, the original shapes of the phrases. I would not use drop D for the entire suite. In fact, despite that I have played the entire suite numerous times as a student in concerts and competitions, I would not enjoy playing it today after I have read and studied the ur text. It is pure mutilation if you intend to seriously do it. It is a keyboard piece and it is not minor compromises that one has to make, sometimes leaving out entire lines and also transposing too many notes up an octave, often in the middle of the phrase. This ruins the balance of all voices, it ruins the imitation of motifs and shapes, and I find disappointing that some guitar performers ignore these issues. The violin and cello compositions work better as arrangements on guitar, in my opinion. I take the alla breve seriously. The double time pulse is very important for the character of the Bourree, so I decide to slightly detach the 2-beat motifs in the opening. Ta-da-dam, 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 ta-da-dam. And then, in the second half, I play a little bit more legato the bass, as it is almost entirely repeated except the cadence at the end. So it's but then second time but still in 2. Both voices are constructed by using mostly minor and major seconds. You can see they go mostly by step. And then the bass is by step. On the repetition, I don't add a leading bass phrase like some people do. For example, as I want to leave it time for the music to breathe by sustaining a bit the G major chord, the establishment of the relative major key. Also, such added passage would repeat unnecessarily the bass line melody that we have already heard twice. This which is so if you add it and then you have it again. It's just unnecessary to me. I like to slightly overdot on the cadence, just to enjoy a longer last note of the trio and the tension that it creates. So this one leads to the first beat of the chord, but slightly waiting a bit more. So in bar 4 we hear the completion of the idea in the home key E minor. Then in the second half we modulate to the relative key G major. On the repetition I add only a few ornaments, avoiding ornamenting on the weak second and fourth beat. They're weak beats, as that will take away from the weight of the first and the third beats. The quavers should be light, but by ornamenting them you emphasize the beat. You can't avoid this effect. Also, too many ornaments diminish the effect of the ornamentation. The effect is to underline something and to surprise. Some people go to extremes and do things just because they can, which does not add more beauty to the music. Like a beautiful woman doesn't need to wear a few kilos of jewelry. Check this. He wants to be better than Bach. Then, in the second section of the piece, Bach starts the development and introduces bigger intervals, such as fourths and fifths, which creates the effect of adding an extra layer in the texture. From the two-part harmony in the opening, where the melodies were by steps, now it sounds more like three-part harmony. And now, if you play this three, 1, 2, 3. The opening phrases sound like question and answer. Pa ba bum, pa ba bum, pa ba bum, pa ba bum. And then we hear twice the G sharp, which tells us that he's modulating to the subdominant key of A minor, and we hear the longer phrase ending with a perfect cadence. By the way, he uses the same phrase when he closes the piece in E minor. Absolutely the same phrase. I think this is derived from the very opening two short phrases, but the shape is reversed. Look, tararam, tararam, mi fa sol, fa mi re, and here you have fa mi re, mi fa sol, tiraram, ba ba bam. So it's absolutely the same, just reversed. So in the opening question answer, both voices start the phrase at the same time, on the same beat. However, we can see that in bar 13 and 14, the upper phrase starts 2 beats later, almost as an answer to the bass. So they overlap but are not synchronized. This creates a feeling of listening to more voices. So the bass starts 2 beats earlier. Dum, 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 bum, 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 bum. But this comes as an answer. So we have. Okay. This phrase in the bass at the end of bar 12 is a continuation of the bar 9 idea. You had it here. Dum, dum, bum, bum, and you hear it again. Bum, bum. Yes. And the upper voice in the bar 13 is the continuation of this idea. You can see it. Then we hear twice A sharp, which tells us that we have modulated to the B major key, the dominant key, and in bars 15-16 we have a perfect cadence. This is the strongest moment of the piece. He has been climbing to get to this gradually increasing tension. This is the culmination, and he reaches the highest note, B. This bar, bar 16 out of 24 bars, is also the golden section. The golden section is roughly 62% to 38%. So you can clearly see the proportions. It's like the perfect proportions we see in the English old windows. Then again, we hear that the bass and the upper voice phrases are 2 beats apart. So the bass is doing but 2 beats later is and we go, yeah, so they overlap. The underlying harmony is a chain of falling fifths, which Bach uses often after strong dominant moments. Here, the fifths are falling every, say, half bar. B, E, A, B, G, C, F, B. Yes, but then he continues the development, and you can see that in bar 21, 22, the falling fifths move 2 times faster on every beat. A, B major, G, C major, F, B major, E. You see, it's 2 times faster. And then he very gradually descends from the top notes, which was B, down to E on the 4th string, 14 notes below. So we have B, A, G, F, E, D, C, B, G, F, E, D, E. Then he continues the effect of development in the texture. Basically, the voice leading here, the implied harmony from the end of bar 20, where we have 3 voices, we actually get to 4 voices here. Let me explain. So if you sustain the E here, you can see E, D, C, B, that's one voice. Then the second voice will be this middle, B, C, A, B, G, A, F, G. And then here you have the answer of this B, C, E, F. That's the third voice. E, F, A, B, D, E, G, E, C, D. Yeah, that's very interesting. So we have already 3 voices, and the bass moves 2 times slower, okay? It's not like every beat you can sustain the A, G, F, E. Okay, so it becomes A, G, F, E. Yeah. We also hear some interesting accidentals, like here the D sharp and C sharp. They give special colors, like the D sharp in 21, creating augmented chord. This is augmented chord. Also, if we sustain the soprano notes, there is a typical dissonant clash that Bach uses often. For example, here this D clashes with the D sharp, or C natural with the C sharp. It's typical, this dissonant he uses. For example, I can show you in Herr unser Herrscher opening. Listen to this. D natural against the D sharp in the violins. So I'll start from here. C against C sharp, but when it's quicker. Beautiful. Speaking of intervals, it is interesting to know that there are only 2 dissonant intervals in the piece. Between the upper and the low voice. Everything else is consonant, so you have either 6th or 3rd or an octave, 5th, but here you have 7th, and here you have BA. Well, you can think of this as a 7 over octave. Yeah, this is 14th. Then on the repetition, the ornamentation is light again. A few more dents, appoggiatura, then thrills, underlining the imitation in the voices. That's why in bar 21 I dare to ornament on the 2nd weak beat of the bar, as I want to draw the attention of the listener to the interesting imitation in the lower voice, which is So I ornament here. And then back to the first beat of the bar. Well, we can see that Bach was a decent composer. Also, it is interesting how in the polyphonic horizontal music, the vertical harmonies that are created move so fast. That's why I like it. It's very rich and colorful. If we write a chord symbol over each beat, you can see that I've written precisely with just chord symbols. So it will sound something like that. Okay, I hope you liked it and you found it very interesting.